So today we've got 10 of the highest rated men's designer fragrances of 2021. So essentially what I did here was I went through some of the top retailers, sorted by best customer reviews. I looked at the fragrances, okay? Now a lot of these here are going to be actually from this year, new releases, which really shocked me. There's a few in here that will probably shock you as well. And the fact that out of every fragrance on these databases, these shot past all of them in terms of the number of reviews and is on the front page just after coming out this year. I thought that was pretty wild. I mean, think about it. There are so many fragrances on these retailer websites that it's insane. Fragrances that came out this year are already on the top. And that intrigued me so much that I wanted to make a video highlighting them. Now, obviously, this whole video is not going to be new 2021 releases. We do have some fragrances in here that are maybe a year or two older than that. And so all I did was I just looked through and I've looked at the number of reviews. I've looked at how many reviews they're still getting this year and just kind of try to judge if they rose to the front page this year. And in my opinion, all of these here kind of really popped off and did especially well this year in 2021. 10 fragrances, some of the top rated ones. And what's interesting also, being that this is on retailers, a lot of these ratings are coming from non-fragrance enthusiasts. So if you're after fragrances that are working really well in the real world, like the field testers of the people who don't know anything about notes and everything, they're going out and testing them, they're working, this is going to be for you. As you can imagine, it's a pretty heavy hitter list of compliment getters, versatile men's fragrances that smell great. This is some heavy stuff here. Let's get it. First up, we have Bleu de Chanel Parfum, the last flanker, right? The last Bleu de Chanel. What is it? Like the last fragrance that Chanel has put out for the men's side of things specifically, not including their Chanel exclusive fragrances. Yeah, it's pretty much it. This is where they stopped. And so I think, you know, people who maybe didn't buy this one right away, man, that smells so good, by the way. People who didn't buy it right away are now starting to finally circle around to it because everyone's been patiently waiting for another Chanel men's release. We haven't gotten it yet, and so people are finally like, okay, I'll get the Bleu de Chanel Parfum because they haven't released anything else. That's kind of my theory on why this one shot up. I mean, it has more ratings and reviews and is ranked higher than Bleu de Chanel EDT and EDP, so, you know, I don't know what's going on there. Lemon zest, sandalwood, and amberwood are some of the main notes. It's a fantastic fragrance. I love how it smells. I've always really liked the Parfum ever since I first smelled it from a little carded sample atomizer thing. I fell in love instantly. And so now I have a bottle. I've had it for a while. And between this one and the EDP, they're kind of the ones that get worn the most. But oftentimes, out of all of them, I will gravitate towards the Parfum. I think it's fantastic. So this next one, we do have a new release. Again, I found this to be so crazy. It came out this year, and it's already just shot up. It's insane to me how it's already on the front page of like the customer reviews. And now I understand why. It's a great smelling fragrance. I had a little bit of a change of heart on it myself. Wasn't super crazy, and then it kind of won me over as I continued to wear it. From Prada, this one is Luna Rossa Ocean. Bergamot, iris, and lavender are some of the main notes. So it's not what you may think, being that it looks like a blue fragrance. It's really not to me because, again, they already have a blue fragrance, that being carbon. It just isn't colored blue. But this has a really nice vibrance from how the bergamot comes across. The iris gives it a little bit of a kind of like a soapy, clean, floral touch. Now, just because it has iris doesn't mean that it smells like Prada L'Homme or Dior Homme or anything like that. It doesn't. It's in its own world here. And also, it's not aquatic. So a lot of confusing stuff may seem to be going on here for people who maybe just look at the surface level and make assumptions, like on Fragrantica. Don't do that, because you really need to get your nose on this one to understand where it's coming from. It is clean, it is fresh, it's fruity, it's vibrant, it's juicy, it's a great summertime scent. And very mass-pleasing as well, which I think is one of the main reasons why it's already climbed so high in terms of its review rating here. I think people are getting their hands on it and realizing that it's doing very well for them with compliments. And again, for me, I find it to be a great compliment getter as well. I find it to be very pleasant. In my opinion, it's worth a pickup, even though it's not on discounters yet. Another new release, Azzaro, the Most Wanted. Toffee, cardamom, and amberwood are some of the main notes. Again, out of everything that's on these websites, this new release is coming up to the top in terms of its reviews. I mean, these fragrances are going crazy this year. I don't know what it is about it, but I really like this one. You know, they had some big shoes to fill with the predecessor to this, Azzaro, Wanted by Night. and especially now it's really going crazy. It's always been hyped up, it's always been talked about a lot, but I don't know what's been going on lately. It's been everywhere, and by the way, it's not just me, because my viewer-led videos, Azzaro Wanted by Night was in every single one, so it's you guys as well. It's not just my fault or the other reviewers' faults. Everyone's just loving it here recently, and so that's kind of where it was at. And the Most Wanted is also good. For me, Wanted by Night is still better, but this is easily a close second. Like, they're almost neck to neck. It's a little bit gourmand from the toffee. It has a spiciness from the cardamom. It has just kind of an amberwood, fuzzy, warm sweetness about it. It's very pleasant. It's very mass-pleasing, very sexy. It's a great compliment getter as well, as you would imagine, and also a great performer. I understand why this one is doing so well out there in the real world. Next up, we have Spicebomb Infrared. Cinnamon, red fruits, and tobacco are some of the main notes. So I'll tell you why I think this one's doing so well. Is because, you know, people who were around and loving on Spicebomb Eau de Toilette when it first came out probably saw this one and were like, ooh, like I need to get on that, because, you know, the night visions aren't the same. And I think even people who aren't into the community would look at the night vision bottles and be like, oh, that doesn't look like it's going to smell like my Spicebomb. I'm not going to try those. And so they didn't. And even to some extent with Spicebomb Extreme, I think a lot of original Spicebomb lovers got into Extreme, but I think some people maybe still didn't. The point is, you know, with what Victor and Rolf was doing with night vision, they got off track a little bit compared to for the Spicebomb lovers. And so when Infrared came around, you know, looking like the original Spicebomb bottle, just with a red gradient, having just the name Spicebomb, but then with infrared, all that stuff, and the note breakdown, if anyone looked at that, I think, you know, people were like, oh, this might be like my, you know, Spicebomb that I loved to wear back in the day. And I think that's part of the reason why this one shot off so well. And so what's the difference between this and the Eau de Toilette? I find this one to have almost like a more of a sweetness. Now, the original Spicebomb is very spicy, but also very sweet as well. But it's how the red fruits come across in this one. You still get the tobacco, still get a whole bunch of spiciness. Has almost more of like a cinnamon red hot smell, or like a big red gum. Just very, very spicy in that way, with that sweet fruitiness as well. It's a nice little twist on that original DNA. Smells addicting. I love how it comes across. So at number 6 here, yes, these are in order. My bad for not verbally saying that out loud, but these are in order based on the reviews. At number 6, we have Dior Homme 2020 for being the most rated fragrance for this year. Again, didn't come out this year, but it did come out last year, obviously, right? And it already has shot up through all of the other fragrances, through all of the other Dior Homme fragrances, onto the front page of the highest rated scents. Cashmere and ISO E Super, Vetiver are some of the main notes. It's a modern men's woody fragrance. It smells great to everyone out there. Enough said. So at number 5 for the highest rated fragrances for this year, Armani Coat Absolu. Also not a new release, but again, this one is also shot up past all of the other Armani Coat fragrances. A lot of that would have been last year, but I think also a lot of that is this year as well. If you look at the Fragrantica trends on a lot of these in here, this year especially, a lot of them have taken a big step up, which is why I believe that a lot of these really popped off this year as well. Sometimes it takes time. It doesn't always happen right when they're released or the same year they're released. Sometimes they need maybe a year or two to kind of marinate. And I think that's what's going on here. This one is not stopping. I don't think it's going to. It's a winner for sure. It's a very good release, and I think it's going to continue to climb. It has vanilla, it has suede, it has orange, it has tonka bean. It's sweet, it's inviting, it's alluring, it's a great date night scent. I love it. At number 4, we have Acqua Di Gio Profondo. This one has mineral notes, orange, sea notes, and like aquazone and a few other notes which I don't really fully know, but I just know that they're there. What this one's all about is an aquatic fragrance with a bunch of like a mineral smell, a lot of this kind of effervescent, sparkling brightness about it. It's quite unique. You know, there are a ton of aquatic fragrances out there, and you may think, how can they make another one that is worthwhile? Like, don't they all smell the same at this point? And I thought that until Profondo came out. And I'm like, you know what? This fragrance here, it makes sense. And for me, it resonated with me. Because, you know, with the way this line was going after Profumo, I was starting to be kind of losing touch with it. I was kind of getting bored of it. This one came around, it hooked me right back in. Amazing, amazing fragrance, and is right there behind Profumo for me. Had it not be for me having a bunch of memories invested in Profumo, I might even like this one more. But obviously, scent memory, that sort of thing, is very special to us, and especially to me as well. And so with Profumo, being that I have all those things tied into it, it's still a fragrance that I smell and absolutely adore. But this one is right behind it. Amazing release, and I understand why it has rose to the top as well. And number 3, another new release of this year. Absolutely crazy to me, especially given the price point. I probably gave it away. New release, price point, designer fragrance. That sound there, I'm sure you know what it is. But yeah, it's wild. But again, it has a whole lot riding behind it. I think the marketing was very well done here. And there's something about the human brain that is attracted towards these, you know, maybe potentially kind of rare or special, limited edition, hard to get items, whatever you want to call this. The human brain, I think a lot of us are kind of attracted to that, which I think also was a very smart move from the brand, and another reason why I think it did so well. Of course, it's Sauvage Elixir. You already knew that. It's got sandalwood, lavender, cinnamon, and nutmeg. It's hard for me to remember this note breakdown because it is not Sauvage-like. You know, all these other note breakdowns I can remember off the top of my head pretty much, except for maybe a couple of the brand new fragrances. But this one, it's just, you know, I think Sauvage, and I'm thinking ambroxan, bergamot, black pepper, lavender. And then you get to Elixir, and it's like hardly any of that. So it's a change for sure. Yeah, it's not cheap, but in my opinion, I've done a review. I've done 10 reasons why you need it. If you're after Sauvage that doesn't smell youthful, if you want a Sauvage fragrance that you like, if you don't like Sauvage Eau de Toilette, check this one out because you're most likely really going to enjoy it. It's very mature, it's very refined, it's very well done. It has this luxurious, masculine sexiness about it, and I have to admit, hats off to them. They did a phenomenal job. Number 2 for the highest rated fragrance of this year. Again, this one shocked me big time here, and this is not just one website. This is going on all the major retailers. I will link these down below. You can look for yourself. It has a ton of reviews, and it's like almost 5 stars as well. Like over 5,000 reviews for a new release this year. This is at number 2. This is soaring across all of the other fragrances in here. Ralph's Club by Ralph Lauren. Lavender, clary sage, and vetiver are some of the main notes. Probably has to do with this. I bet this hinged mechanism is responsible for all their sales. I'm kidding. Only partly, though. That definitely makes a difference. Look at Sageman Privé. But it smells top-notch. Smells fantastic. And to the masses, to the general market, this is like a home run to them. You get this nice herbal touch from the clary sage, nice clean lavender, a nice woody vetiver. It's not like a super earthy or strong vetiver. It's a very clean smell. It has almost a little bit of like a bubblegummy sweetness, but not to a super strong extent. It still, to me, has a little bit of like a upscale classiness about it. Very mass-pleasing. It's a nice performer. It's a super sexy compliment getter. That's what it is, and people love it. And last up, the number 1 rated fragrance on retailers. The number 1, like out of everything, okay? Not even, you know, this is not a new release. It's higher rated than Bleu de Chanel. It's higher rated than Sauvage. It's higher rated than pick any other fragrance off of these shelves that is super highly rated. Like, it's at the top. You can go look for yourself. Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum. Amberwood, lavender, and sage are some of the main notes. I knew that this was big, but I don't think I realized how big it was outside of the community, I suppose. I just don't really keep up with that. But getting on there and seeing this was just insane. I thought for sure, okay, when I go onto these retailers, I sort by the most reviews, the highest rated. I thought I was going to be seeing Acqua Di Gio, Versace Eros, blah, 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 right at the top. Those ones, right? Like when you go on discounters and sort by best-selling. That's all you see is the fragrances that you've smelled a million times. But to see this up there, soaring past everything else, that was pretty crazy. And now I love this fragrance. I think it's a great pickup. Everything from the performance being monstrous to the compliment factor to the quality to the scent. It's really, really, really good. And that's 3 reallys, by the way. I normally don't do that. This gets 3 reallys. But yeah, great fragrance here. The number 1 rated. And again, I know it didn't come out this year. I know it's been out for a few years now. But when you look at the Fragrantica trends, when you just look at what this one is still doing, I think a lot of that came from this year as well. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. That is 10 of the highest rated fragrances of 2021, essentially based off of the masses, off of the non-fragrance community people. And I normally don't say this as well, but all of the new releases in here that I paid full retail for, I'm happy that I did. Elixir, Ralph's Club, Ocean, The Most Wanted. I paid retail for those, and I'm happy I did. I love having them. So if you guys want to pick any of these up for yourself, I will link them down below to discounters and also to retailers so you can pick these up for yourself. You can hit those links, by the way, like for example, Ralph's Club. You can see all the reviews so you know I'm not making stuff up. Elixir, that sort of thing, and this one as well. And you can pick these up for yourself. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.